Platform. Get Noticed in a Noisy World, by Michael Hyatt. Introduction. A young writer finishes her masterpiece. She pours her soul into it, polishes every sentence, and crafts a story she knows the world needs to hear. She sends it off, her heart full of hope. And something amazing happens. Two respected literary agents write back. They tell her they love her book. They love her proposal. They are absolutely willing to represent it. But then comes the sentence that shatters her world. "We can't represent it," they say, "not until you have social media followers numbering in the thousands." Confused and heartbroken, she writes an email to a man she's never met, a giant in the publishing world named Michael Hyatt. She asks him a question that echoes the frustration of so many talented people today. Doesn't a good book stand on its own anymore? Are writers now doomed to spend the bulk of our workdays just trawling for blog subscribers? Hyatt's answer was direct, honest, and it forms the very foundation of the world we now live in. The answer to her first question was no. A good product, a great idea, a beautiful song, it does not stand on its own anymore. And the answer to her second question was yes. You absolutely must be proactive if you want your voice to be heard. For anyone who has ever felt like they have something important to say or sell, but feels like they're shouting into a void, this is for you. Today, we're exploring Michael Hyatt's landmark book, Platform. This isn't just a book, it's a blueprint. It's a step-by-step guide to building your own stage, turning on the spotlights, and attracting an audience that will stay with you for every line, every scene, and every act of your journey. By the end of our time together, you will understand the two-part secret to success in our modern world, and you will have the framework to start getting noticed, not by being the loudest, but by being the one worth listening to. Let's begin. Book summary. In the past, success was often about being picked. A publisher had to pick your book. A record label had to pick your song. A TV network had to pick your show. These were the gatekeepers, the powerful figures who decided whose voice was worthy of a stage. But that world is gone. Michael Hyatt, having spent decades as the chairman of a major publishing house, saw this shift from the inside. He saw countless brilliant authors, artists, and innovators get turned away, not because their work wasn't good enough, but because they didn't have a platform. So, what is a platform? Hyatt defines it with beautiful simplicity. A platform is the thing you stand on to be heard. It's your stage. But today, that stage isn't built of wood or concrete. It's built of people. It's built of connections, followers, and fans who have gathered to hear what you have to say. It's your blog, your podcast, your social media accounts. It's the sum of all the ways you connect with your audience. Hyatt argues that in today's crowded world, success boils down to a simple, two-part equation: a compelling product, plus a significant platform. You need both. A great platform can't save a terrible product, and a great product can easily get lost without a platform to showcase it. He shares a quote from the marketing guru David Ogilvy that sets the stage for everything: "Great marketing only makes a bad product fail faster." So, where do you start? You start with a product. You start with wow. This is the first and most crucial part of the journey. Before you can build a stage, you need something worthy of putting on it. Hyatt is almost relentless on this point. There is no sense in wasting your time and energy building a buzz around something that's just okay. The secret to success, he says, is to deliver something truly great, something compelling. A wow product. And what does that look like? Hyatt points to one of the greatest masters of wow in modern history, Steve Jobs. He recalls watching the 2007 keynote where Jobs unveiled the first iPhone. It wasn't just a presentation, it was a performance. And in it, Hyatt saw three profound insights. First, create products you would personally use. You could feel Jobs' genuine love for the product. He called it awesome, incredible, even magical. He wasn't selling something. He was sharing an experience he was passionate about. Hyatt asks us to turn that question on ourselves. If you're a speaker, do you believe your message can change lives? If you sell something, would you enthusiastically recommend it to your best friend? If not, you're just trying to meet a quota. Second, create products that solve problems in unexpected ways. Before the iPhone, cell phone manufacturers were essentially saying the market was saturated. There was nothing truly new to build. Then, Apple reinvented the entire category. They didn't start with the technology. They started with a dream of what a phone could be and then went in search of the technology to make it happen. They refused to be constrained by the past. And third, create products that exceed your customers' expectations. As Jobs demonstrated each new feature, the crowd erupted in applause and glee. Apple executed its vision with stunning simplicity and elegance. It wasn't just good enough, it was as good as they could imagine it. But wow doesn't have to be about technology. Hyatt shares another, equally powerful story. It's about a man named Blake Mycoskie. In 2006, Blake was traveling in Argentina and noticed that many children had no shoes. This simple observation sparked an idea. He returned to America and founded Tom's Shoes, built on a revolutionary model. For every pair of shoes sold, the company gives a new pair to a child in need. By 2010, Tom's had given away over 1 million pairs of shoes. For many of these children, it was the very first pair of shoes they had ever owned. One teacher said of the kids receiving the shoes, "I can tell you, these children will not sleep today. They will be talking about those shoes the whole night." That, Hyatt says, is also wow. He explains that every wow experience, whether it's an iPhone or a pair of shoes, shares common elements. It has surprise, it exceeds our expectations. It has resonance, it touches the heart. It has transcendence, it connects us to something bigger than ourselves. And it has evangelism, a wow experience is something you can't help but share. But even with a wow idea, it's easy to lose your way. We've all been in that meeting where a big, exciting vision is born. The energy is electric. But then, in the next meeting, reality sets in. Budgets, deadlines, and limited resources start to chip away at the dream. The vision gets dialed back. Hyatt calls this the drift. He shares a personal story to illustrate this. Years ago, he and his wife went snorkeling in Maui. They were mesmerized by the beautiful world beneath the water. But when he finally lifted his head, he gasped. A riptide had carried them more than 1 mile out to sea. The shore looked impossibly far away. They had drifted without even realizing it. This, he says, is what happens to great ideas. Mediocrity is natural. You don't have to do anything to drift there. Taking a stand for greatness, on the other hand, requires courage. It requires connecting back to that original vision and refusing to settle for good enough. Once you've committed to creating that wow product, you need to give it a name and package it in a way that connects. Hyatt says the title is your #1 marketing tool. Great titles, he explains, are pink, that's P-I-N-C. They do at least one of 4 things: make a promise like the 4-Hour Body, create intrigue like Heaven is for Real, identify a need like the book Fearless, or state the content like College Hunks Hauling Junk. And just as importantly, you have to wrap that wow in style. People do judge a book by its cover, which is why packaging is where the war for a consumer's mind is often won or lost. So, you've done it. You have a compelling product, named and packaged for success. This is the what in Hyatt's success equation. But now comes the second, equally critical part, the who. This is where we move from creating the message to building the stage. This is where you prepare to launch. And the very first step in this new phase is a mental one. You must accept personal responsibility. Hyatt tells a funny story about his daughter, Michaela, who was making French fries and asked her mom to watch them for her. Her mother, busy with work, replied, "Michaela, I'm not babysitting your French fries." The lesson is profound. You cannot ask someone else to babysit your dream. You can't hire out your passion. No one will ever know your product, care about it, or have more skin in the game than you do. You are now the chief marketing officer of your own brand. With that responsibility shouldered, the next step is to think bigger. Much bigger. We're often told to be realistic, a voice that quickly becomes our own internal naysayer. Hyatt challenges this, sharing the story of legendary football coach Lou Holtz. In 1966, broke and unemployed, Holtz wrote down a list of 107 seemingly impossible life goals. He wanted to have dinner at the White House, meet the Pope, become the head coach at Notre Dame, and win a national championship. It was pure fantasy. Yet, to date, he has achieved 102 of them. Why? Because the simple act of writing a dream down transforms it into a goal. It makes it real. This leads to one of the most practical parts of the preparation: creating an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is a short, compelling summary of what you offer that you can deliver in the time it takes to ride an elevator, about 30 seconds. In the online world, where attention spans are even shorter, this is non-negotiable. It forces you to achieve clarity, to see your product from your customer's perspective, and it gives you a tool to enroll partners who can help you. And as you prepare to launch, you need to assemble your pit crew. Just like in a car race, you are the driver, but you won't get far without a team to keep you on the track. This crew might include administrative help, an agent to represent you, coaches to guide you, or even a publisher to help get your product to market. You can't do it alone. One of the most powerful tools in your launch kit will be endorsements. In a world with infinite options, we rely on the opinions of people we trust. An endorsement provides third-party validation and social authority. It reduces the risk for a potential customer and makes it easier for them to say yes. Whether it's a like on Facebook or a quote from a celebrity in your field, endorsements are the currency of modern marketing. This entire preparation phase is about building the foundation for your platform. It's about getting your mindset right, your tools in order, and your team assembled. With this foundation in place, you're ready to start the actual construction. You're ready to build your home base. Hyatt introduces a simple but powerful model for your online presence. He calls it the Simple Presence Framework. It consists of 3 parts. First, your home base. This is a digital property you own and control, like a blog or a personal website. It's where you direct all your traffic because it's the one place where you make the rules. Second, your embassies. These are places you don't own, but where you have a registered profile and a regular presence, like Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. You're a guest on someone else's property, engaging in conversations there. Third, your outposts. These are places you don't own and don't have a regular presence. Instead, you simply listen. You use tools like Google Alerts to monitor conversations about you, your brand, or your topics of interest. The most important of these, Hyatt insists, is your home base. If you are serious about building a platform, that's where you need to start. And for most people, the heart of that home base is a blog. Why a blog? Because static websites are like brochures left in a warehouse. A blog, on the other hand, is a living, breathing space. It's where your best thinking lives, where you can create fresh content that makes people want to come back, and where you can start a conversation with your audience. Hyatt offers a wealth of practical advice on blogging, learned from writing thousands of his own posts. He says the first rule is to create the content yourself. You can hire a ghostwriter for a book, but not a blog. Readers can sense authenticity, and if you're not the one writing, they will know. Your personal voice is the entire point. To make the process less daunting, he suggests using a blog post template. His own template has 5 components: a strong lead paragraph to hook the reader, a relevant image to pull them in, a personal story to create connection, a scannable main body using lists and bullet points, and a discussion question at the end to invite conversation. The goal isn't a monologue, it's the start of a dialogue. He warns against the most common blogging mistakes that kill traffic: not posting often enough. Frequency equals visibility, posting too often quality over quantity, writing posts that are too long. Aim for 500 words, or being too unfocused. A tight editorial focus leads to higher traffic. And perhaps his most surprising insight is about the About page. He discovered that his About page was consistently one of the top 10 most visited pages on his entire site. When people discover a new blog, it's one of the first places they go. They want to know who is behind the words. So, he says, make it great. Write it in the first person. Start with your readers' priorities, tell them what to expect, and point them to your best posts. With a strong home base established, it's time for the next phase, to expand your reach. And this is where Hyatt redefines a word that many creative people hate: marketing. He declares, with a bit of dramatic flair, that marketing is dead. The old marketing was about shouting your message at people. The new marketing, he says, is about building a tribe. Drawing on the work of Seth Godin, he defines a tribe as a group of people connected to one another, a leader, and an idea. Building a tribe isn't about generating transactions, it's about building relationships. It's no longer about exploiting a market, it's about serving those who share your passion. This is a profound shift. Marketing is no longer an act of promotion, but an act of leadership and generosity. Social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook are the primary tools for this expansion. At first, Hyatt himself was skeptical of Twitter. It seemed silly. But he soon realized its power. It forces you to be concise, which makes you a better writer. It helps you stay connected. It creates traffic for your blog. And most importantly, it gives you a direct line of communication to your tribe. He provides a detailed guide to getting started, from setting up your account to learning the language of hashtags and replies. But his most valuable advice is about how to grow your following authentically. Don't try to cheat the system by buying followers or using aggressive software. Instead, share valuable content. Be generous. Post frequently, but don't flood your followers. Keep your posts short enough to be easily retweeted. And practice strategic following, connecting with people in your industry who share your interests. His advice for Facebook is just as strategic. He recommends creating a clear distinction between a private personal profile, reserved for real-life family and friends, and a public fan page for your wider audience. This prevents your personal space from being flooded with noise and allows you to maintain your sanity while still connecting with your tribe. Across all these platforms, a consistent brand is vital. Use the same name, logo, headshot, and branding statement everywhere. When people land on one of your profiles, they should instantly know it's you. But the most important rule for expanding your reach, the philosophy that ties it all together, is what Hyatt calls the 20-to-1 rule. It's a ratio. For every one marketing withdrawal, where you ask your audience to buy something, come to an event, or support your cause, you must make 20 relational deposits. These deposits are acts of generosity, sharing a helpful resource, answering a question, promoting someone else's work. Social media is a social bank account. You can only make withdrawals if you've put far more in than you take out. This leads us to the final, and perhaps most rewarding, part of building a platform: to engage your tribe. It's one thing to have followers, it's another thing entirely to have an engaged community. The number one place this engagement happens is in the comments section of your blog. Hyatt encourages this by ending every post with a question and using a comment system that allows readers to reply not just to him, but to each other. He sees himself not as a lecturer, but as the host of a dinner party. His post is the appetizer, but the main course is the conversation that follows. As the host, it's his job to keep that conversation civil. He created a formal comments policy that lays out the ground rules. He welcomes debate but insists on respect. He reserves the right to delete comments that are snarky, offensive, or off-topic. This creates a safe environment where people feel free to disagree without being disagreeable. This also means learning how to handle criticism. Hyatt breaks critics down into three types. First, there are true friends, who have your best interests at heart. Their criticism is a gift. Second, there are honest critics, who simply disagree with you. They aren't malicious, and their perspective can enrich the conversation. But the third type is the unhealthy trolls. These people have an agenda. They want to lure you into a fight. They taunt and mock. Hyatt's advice is simple and absolute. Do not feed the trolls. Engaging them only makes them stronger. The best thing you can do is ignore them and continue serving the people who are there for the right reasons. To do this effectively, you have to be listening. You have to monitor your brand. Using tools like Google Alerts, you can know within minutes when someone mentions you or your work online. This allows you to respond quickly. If someone says something positive, you can thank them. If they say something negative, you have the opportunity to enter the conversation, solve the problem, and turn a bad experience into a wow moment. He shares a powerful story of U-Haul missing a Twitter complaint, which snowballed into thousands of negative impressions and lost revenue, all because they weren't listening. Finally, Hyatt addresses the question of money. Is it possible to monetize your blog without selling your soul? He says yes, absolutely. Art and money aren't enemies. He outlines three primary methods: selling advertising, promoting affiliate products you genuinely use and believe in, and selling your own products, like ebooks. The key is to only offer things that are consistent with your brand and will genuinely add value to your readers' lives. From creating a wow product to building a loyal and engaged tribe, Platform lays out a clear, actionable path. It demystifies the process of getting noticed. But Hyatt ends with one final, powerful story. He talks about attending a Tony Robbins seminar where, on the first night, they were told they would be walking on fire. Barefoot. Over 12-foot lanes of scorching hot coals. He was terrified. But he had promised to play full out. So he lined up, and when it was his turn, he took the first step. He doesn't remember much after that, only the feeling of exhilaration when he reached the other side. Building a platform, he says, can feel just like that. It can be overwhelming and scary. What if you fail? What if people don't like you? But just like firewalking, the secret is simply to start. To take that first step. Because once you do, you'll figure out the rest. Commentary. What I find so powerful about Michael Hyatt's message and platform is its profound sense of empowerment. The book was written at a time when social media was moving from a novelty to a necessity, and it perfectly captured the spirit of a new era. For generations, creative people were at the mercy of gatekeepers. You had to wait to be picked. Hyatt's core argument is that you no longer have to wait for permission. You can pick yourself. This is a monumental shift in thinking. It transforms the artist, the writer, the entrepreneur from a passive applicant into an active architect of their own success. The tools to build a stage, to gather an audience, are now accessible to anyone with an internet connection and the willingness to do the work. This message is even more relevant today for you than it was when the book was first published. The principles Hyatt lays out for a blog are the exact same principles that build massive followings on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or whatever platform comes next. The technology changes, but the human dynamics of tribe building do not. The most enduring lesson for me is the 20-to-1 rule. It's a philosophy of digital generosity. In a world that constantly screams, "Look at me," Hyatt's strategy is to say, "Let me help you." By consistently providing value, by making those 20 relational deposits for every one withdrawal, you build something far more valuable than a following. You build trust. And in a noisy world, trust is the rarest and most precious currency of all. A platform built on trust is not just a stage for promotion, it becomes a genuine community. So, how can you apply these ideas right now? Today, I'd suggest 3 simple actions. First, start with wow. Think about something you're passionate about. It could be your art, a hobby, or an idea you can't stop thinking about. Now ask yourself, how could I make this experience 10% better for someone else? How could I add an element of surprise, delight, or unexpected value? Don't think about building a business yet. Just focus on creating one small wow moment. Second, plant your flag. Go online right now and buy your domain name. yourname.com. It costs less than a couple of pizzas. This is your digital home base. Even if you don't build anything on it for a year, the act of claiming your space is a powerful psychological step. It's a declaration that you're taking your own platform seriously. Third, practice digital generosity. For the next week, commit to the 20-to-1 rule, but only focus on the deposits. Don't ask for anything. Instead, find 20 opportunities to give. Share another creator's work that you admire. Answer a question in an online forum. Write a thoughtful comment on someone's post. By focusing solely on giving, you'll start to build the foundational habit of a true platform builder. That was a look at Platform by Michael Hyatt. We've touched on the main ideas, but this is one of those books where the real value is in the detailed, step-by-step instructions. A summary can give you the blueprint, but reading the book is like having the master builder walk you through the construction site himself. It's filled with practical tips, checklists, and resources that turn these big ideas into manageable daily actions. If you've ever felt that what you have to offer is being lost in the noise, I truly believe this book is the guide that will show you how to make your voice heard. You can find a link to the book in the description below. And if you found this summary helpful in your own journey, I'd be grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe. We explore the wisdom of the world's most impactful books right here, and by subscribing, you ensure you won't miss the next one. Let's keep learning and growing together.